Hello, welcome to Woodline Tracking. Today, we're going to go over danger areas. And it's a thing that can be seriously dangerous, and I found that a lot of people do not have, let's just say, proper training in a paramilitary aspect. I see most of the time the people at my classes or at the Defense Force when we're going through this, before they'll have some training in this, usually fall short on what needs to be done. So let's touch on the basics of this and get you some more tools in your toolbox so you know how to deal with danger areas. Okay, for sure, like I said, danger areas can be tricky. This is the basics of them to get you started to think and some training on it. And remember, this is a paramilitary atmosphere. Okay, here's the situation. It's doomsday, whatever you want to call it's happening. You are part of the Midwest militia, hypothetically, all right? You are a trained paramilitary tracker. You have a trained paramilitary 5-man team with you. You guys are tasked to do a security patrol in this section of woods that they give you an area of operations to do. You're out there doing your patrol. You run across fresh footprints that are 2 to 3 guys, you're guessing. You radio back to HQ. They tell you to proceed cautiously to find out who, where, and what went through there with the footprints. So you start moving out. You guys are moving tactically, quietly. You have good camouflage because you're properly trained paramilitary trackers. You're out there moving. You come across the tracks, come across this open area in the woods. The open area is 130 meters, let's just say. The tracks go out into this open area. What do? How do you handle this situation? What I see a lot of people do is they'll stop, look around from here, look around, perform SEER, stop, look, listen, smell. Can't really, if they have optics, they start scanning the area. Then they'll send, let's just say they decide to send 2 guys out here, one to cover, while the one the tracker's looking around for footprints, the other 3 are to cover them. These guys get out halfway out in the field, bam! The tracker is hit. He's hitting on the ground. The other guy, his cover man, is kissing dirt out in this field because this open area, it has some, grass and some brush in it, but basically it's not a lot of cover out there. Alright, what do you do now if you're the team leader with the other 2 guys back here? It's paramilitary, man. You can't call in a gunship. You can't call in the 9 lines. You can't call in air support because there's nobody else out there to support you. What do? Okay, to keep this going, keep things simple, the guys that ambushed you, or let's just say there was 2 of them, they basically were just doing a typical spot ambush. They decided to get out of there. They got somebody, and they got out of there. They left. So in essence, you guys, let's just say, cleared the area, and you recover the 2 guys out here for keep the story going on. Basically now, the tracker that was shot, because he's a trained paramilitary tracker, he was able to treat his injuries, his gunshot wound, because he was properly trained and had the proper medical stuff on him. So he's stable now. But you got a heck of a problem here now. You got an injured guy. You got to get back to HQ. There's nobody to help you. Like again, you can't call the 9 lines. You can't call an air support. What are you going to do to get back? And HQ, let's just say, is 100 meters away. Like for bad numbers, a long way. You got to go through the woods to get there. Meanwhile, you can't move very fast. You can't move tactically or quietly because you got an injured guy. So all this slows you down and make other problems. Plus, you got two yahoos out there that can ambush you again. You're in a bad situation. So what do? Okay, let's take this from another scenario. We go back here. Again, you're following the track line. Your 5-man team. They're moving tactically, quietly, stealthily to the woods. You come up to this field. The track line goes into this field. Basically, it looks like your guess is going across the field because it looks like there's a deer trail that these guys are following, and the deer trail, well, it looks like the best you can tell goes across the field. More or less, you know that most people stay on deer trails, and places that are easy to travel. They don't beat through the bush. So if they do, you can track them a lot easier. Alright, so what do? Don't go out in the field, because that's just a danger zone that basically, so they can shoot you and there's not much you can do about it, especially with a 5-man team with no support. Take your team and move around the danger area tactically, stealthily, and try to sound cut and pick the tracks up over here. Okay? So let's say you do that. You move around here and come over here. You pick up the track over here, the track line over here, but you realize that these guys are doing a button hook and they came over here to probably try to ambush you, to spot ambush you. So now you move around here cautiously, quietly, tactically. These guys haven't seen anybody in the field, so they're getting kind of bored looking through this field, and you ambush them. A good scenario, you know? Now, I can hear you saying the what ifs. Well, what if you have to go out in the field? Well, if you have to go out in the field, you should clear the whole area to make sure that there's nobody there ambushing you. And I suggest for a 5-man team, something to consider is to send one guy out there and have him low call or high call out there on the track line, and just get up real fast, look around, get back down, and see if he can feel or see the tracks or whatever information he needs to do while everybody else tries to cover him, but you've already cleared the whole area. So basically there's one thing you think about. So that's one scenario. Let's do scenario 2. Okay, one more thing I want to bring up before we go into the second scenario is on the fourth scenario. I can hear people saying, well, you got to close the times distance gap between you and the guy that you're tracking. Well, this is not tactical tracking where you're hunting a fugitive down that is escaping from the police, running on the track line, and I wouldn't suggest that anyways, but or you're not a tracker trying to rescue somebody that is running out of time. This is paramilitary tracking, basically, and your orders was to find out who was out there and what they were doing, more or less, and to be careful. So time doesn't really, in this situation, doesn't really matter. So the mostly matters is you get everybody home safely. Okay, next scenario. We'll call it a log, a danger area. You're going through the woods, and let's just say there's a log or someplace someone could be hiding behind or something. Let's just call it that. All right, situation. Your team, same thing. You're part of the Midwest militia. You have a 5-man experienced paramilitary tracking team. You're out there doing a security patrol in your area of operation. You're 1,000 meters away from your main base or whatever. You come across tracks. You're told by HQ to follow the tracks and find out who, what, where, and all that kind of stuff. Okay? So you're following the tracks through the woods, and you come up onto like a log or something that is like overlooking the hill. This kind of goes up a hill, kind of overlooking the trail. This is the danger area. There could be someone up there that can snipe you. Also, you think you hear something up there because you guys are using sound enhancement tools. There's a couple sound enhancement tools that we use at Woodline. I'll do a video on them, but they help out unbelievably of hearing people 3 to 5 times better than what you naturally can hear. So it's a great edge out there to hear anybody, especially when you're moving quietly and stealthily. Secondly, it also helps you hear your team members. So if you got to communicate, you can whisper real low, and you can hear the guys that communicate, and nobody else can hear it. Keep that in mind. If you don't have, even if you use radios, but we'll get into that some other time. I'll do a video on it, but it's something you guys might consider of getting for your teams. Now they're a little pricey, but they do work well. Anyway, so you think you hear something up over by this log. What should you do? Here's what I recommend to do. You come up, you get in a triangle with 3 guys of your 5-man team. These 2 can cover the log. This guy's covering the rear to make sure nobody sneak up. You send 2 other guys around flanking the log. And you can try to go for like a 90 degree, that's typically best, but we'll do a video on flanking in the future. Okay? They flank around, more or less, okay? Now, if there is somebody behind the log, you got them in a good crossfire. Alright? But let's just say they can't see nobody or hear nothing, but they want to investigate and make sure that guys just didn't leave while they saw them flanking, because you're not for sure if you haven't been detected, but you don't think you have. And you have no good evidence that somebody's there, except for hearing a little bit of noise. So these 2 can either clear this log shoulder by shoulder. When I mean shoulder by shoulder is that they're close and they're moving fast together. They can be a yard or 2 apart, but they're moving together to clear this. Or they can do overwatch, bounding overwatch, and one move, the other one move, using cover and terrain to match their movements and having cover. Okay? These guys up here covering it. Now of course these guys gotta have good communication with these guys, so when they get into the danger zone, these guys know not to shoot because they're going through there. Now, that's complicated. I do have some good methods that we found out that works well, communicating that to the other team. We'll do that in the flanking video. But let's just say these guys clear the danger area. There's nobody there. They didn't find no sign. There was nothing there. These guys come up. They meet back up. And they go about their merry way of tracking on the track line. Okay, I hope you enjoy this. This is just a simple, quick 2 scenario overview of what to do. Again, I have many scenarios at Woodline, at the Defense Force, Defense Force, we have very many scenarios we're running through. And these are just tools in your toolbox. There's really no standard way of doing it. You just have to have enough experience in doing it to know what to do and to deal with the situation as it come about. But here's just 2 typical scenarios. I urge you to take your teams and do this. Put yourself through scenarios with force on force, using projectiles like airsoft, lasers or something. It can be as simple as flying a trailer and sending one team doing some type of patrol down in the other team trying to do a good spot ambush. If you want to see a spot ambush, the basics, I have a video of basically of getting you started on that. I hope you find this helpful. If you want to find some more classes on this, look us up at Woodline. If you live in Ohio and you'll find some more classes and do kind of stuff like this, you can consider joining the Ohio Defense Force. Basically, this kind of stuff is what the Defense Force is all about. So there you go, gentlemen. Remember, time may go on, but your life may not.